Stay away.
Yes. The Literacy Council. Welcome to the May 14th, 2025 regular meeting of the Common Council. It's now 7:01 p.m. and we begin as always with public participation. I have some names on a list that I'll call up. Please remember to state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes. You have the floor for 3 minutes, and we'll check if anybody is calling remotely when we get through this list. Our first name tonight is Frank Chase.
Frank Chase, 24 Roxbury. During the years 2013 through 2025, Mayor Stewart wrote memos to our state legislators detailing the Allen Street problem and project. She noted the Allen Street project is our most pressing need. The Allen Street project is critical to resolving chronic issues including flooding due to storm sewer failures, sanitary backups, and breaks due to insufficient capacity and the system's age. Mayor Stewart also identified storm sanitary cross connections on Allen Street contributing to this public health crisis. The contaminants in the flooding water include a toxic mix of bacteria, fecal matter, fats, motor oil, grease, etc. Remember, the Allen Street neighborhoods are not in a designated flood zone. For 10 years, Stewart held up Mayor O'Brien's Allen Street plan with full knowledge that it was outdated. For 12 years, our state legislatures funneled hundreds of millions of earmark free dollars to Stewart, which she spent her way, while neglecting and mismanaging the Allen Street problem. In 2023, Stewart exclaimed, "We need an updated Allen Street plan." Thanks to our alderpersons and Director Moriarty, 16 months later, we have an updated shovel-ready plan, but Stewart is $8 million short. Now Stewart and her allies indicate our state officials are obligated to fund the $8 million shortfall for the Allen Street project. State Reps Napoli and Piscopo, Chief Bachman, and Governor Lamont never definitively commented or committed to fund the Allen Street project. Stewart is passing the buck and kicking the can down the road again. Sharon and I continue with our advocacy for the Allen Street project because our property is in the flooding water crosshairs, and 50+ other properties are affected by the flooding water and sanitary backups. Over the years, Stewart obviously had no intention to prioritize, plan, fund, and construct the Allen Street project until we completed our due diligence, exposing the neglect and mismanagement. Stewart and her allies continue with their go-to talking point, identifying our state officials as reneging on their obligations. Stewart continues to spend the state's money her way with her priorities, ignoring the Allen Street problem over the past 12 years. Aaron's budget relief tactics cause massive deficits while flat funding our education system. Aaron approved and confirmed a phony $4 million transfer for Allen Street just days before an election. Meanwhile, 13 floods since 2018 and countless sanitary backups and breaks harmed our neighborhoods. It's all shameful and degrading to all of the taxpayers in New Britain. Folks are leaving our neighborhoods and property investors are disgruntled because of the callous neglect in Ward 4. This should not be a political problem. It's truly a human problem. Our quality of life continues to suffer, our safety continues to be in harm's way, and our properties and structures are at risk. All of this is out of our control. Weston Simpson Engineers declared in 2023 the Allen Street project must be a priority because the infrastructure is at crisis levels. Mayor Stewart, leadership requires empathy. What stops you from funding the Allen Street project while our neighborhoods, properties, and structures are flooding? Step up and complete the job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chase. Our next speaker is Peg Messerschmidt.
My name is Margaret Messerschmidt. I live at 6 Hampton Street here in town, and I just showed up to let you know we're still waiting. Frank's been the face of this thing, but there's a bunch of us. We try to get them out here for meetings, but whether we're here or not, we're still waiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Peg. Our next speaker is Carmelo Rodriguez.
Good evening, Carmelo Rodriguez, 1254 Slater Road, and I'm here to represent a couple organizations. First of all, I would like to start by saying thank you. April, we had a great month in the city of New Britain, as we usually have with different events. We had the Borinqueneers event, and I want to thank the majority leader, John McNamara, and his colleagues for being there, and also our minority leader, Sharon Saavedra, and some other colleagues. I didn't want to miss out some names, so I just went with the majority and the minority. We had a great event for the Borinqueneers. Special thanks to our police and our fire department, commission board, Veteran Commission Board. They always do a great job. The city, public, Parks and Recs, getting our park ready. But also we had a great event also raising the Christian flag, which also our majority leader was also, and minority leaders were there, and all the colleagues. On behalf of the churches, we would like to say thank you. Something historic. I know that even the Satanic Church was a little upset, but nothing hard for a brand that we can't confront and take care. Also, I'm here also on Article number 3 on the committee and resolution on behalf of Sienna Center. I know you guys are going to be voting on some funding today. I just want to say this is a great organization. I was honored to be part of that board 11 years ago when Ms. Barbara Kuziak, I believe she was a former alderwoman, and Ms. Jeanette Moretti invited me to be part of that board 11 years ago, where we have the highest retention as an ESL program, highest retention with students from, and these are adults, from Russia, Ukraine, Polish, Iraq, Central South America. We have many great testimonies of people not only did they learn the language, they were able to get their residency and citizenship. We have a lot of them also now, they have business in the city of New Britain. And we've been blessed to have many other manufacturing like Mountain Creek and other companies that send their workers to learn the language. We know that when you learn the language, your quality of life will make a change, will be a difference. So today, I'm asking you guys, to consider Sienna Center. They don't come here every year asking for money. It's one of those organizations that is like low profile, but if you ask Little Poland, they know about it. If you ask the Ukrainian organizations, they know about it. You know about it, Latino, you know it. And most of our little business here has sent their workers because they want them to improve their language. During COVID, we were there with them during their hard time. Not only do they learn the language, but also they help them as a family. The center's there not only for them to learn the language, but also to help their family. They're right around the corner here by the old post office. And they only moved recently because they were gonna sell the building, and I think they're making housing or something with them. So please consider them. We have great teachers, retired nuns, retired teachers, engineers, a lot of retirees that volunteer their time. It's a free program for our community. Once again, I thank you for your time and this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Our next speaker is Anthony Taylor.
Good evening, Councilman. My name is Anthony Taylor, and I'm a local investor that owns 478 to 488 Allen Street, New Britain. Just like to shed some light and voice my opinion on the Allen Street drainage issue that's been going on. So I'm a graduate from Central in 2011. I purchased my first property in New Britain, which was a 3-family on Allen Street. As I, and I lived there as I laid the foundation to my professional career. I chose the city because it impacted me in a positive light and my unwavering belief in its future. Throughout my real estate journey, I developed the responsibility that's needed to take care for my residents and the roof over their heads. I adopted the notion of looking out for my residents as if I were the one that was living there. It is easy to overlook something that needs attention unless you are the one that's experiencing the problem firsthand. This shift in perspective not only helps strengthen my relationship with my residents, but also helps shape the person who I am today. I understand how much of a pain it is to make a significant capital expense that you will not see and literally bury under the ground. These improvements are not cheap, and you don't get the immediate benefit right away. But for the lack of a better term, it's much deeper than that. Prioritizing the funding for the Allen Street Drainage Project will provide relief for many residents affected in the area. They gain peace of mind without having to worry about the next rainfall and if the assets we work so hard to protect will be washed away. Regardless of any political affiliation or agenda, this problem creates financial burdens, health hazards, and property damage for people who deserve better. New Britain has made strides in revitalizing our neighborhoods and attracting new businesses, but to continue that momentum, we need to make sure our infrastructure can support it. The Allen Street drainage issue undermines those efforts and should be addressed as a priority. This investment does not only fix a problem that has been lingering for years, but will also pave the way for its future. Thank you for your time and commitment to the people of New Britain.
Thank you, Anthony, and thanks for your investing in New Britain. That's all the names I have on the list. Is there anybody calling in? Okay. No remote call. As always, Alderman Russell, thank you. I'm going to call out once. Any members of the audience wish to speak? Twice? 3 times? Hearing none. Public participation is closed at 7:12 p.m. And I would invite any members to make brief comments. Alderwoman Scott.
Hi, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. Frank, thanks for all your hard work every single time. We appreciate you sharing the truth and sharing all the facts. And Margaret, thank you for coming out. And even if it is just one person that comes, it doesn't have to be everybody who lives on Allen Street that comes out. If it's one person, that's all that matters right now, because or any time, because if something is happening to one person, we always know there's more than one person that's being affected by it. So for me personally, that's how I feel about that. So even if it's just one of you, we hear you, and I respect what you're saying. Carmen, thanks for coming out and sharing that and sharing the information. And I appreciate the information about the blessings that we've had with the work that you're doing. So thanks for sharing that. And Anthony, I'm also an alumni of CCSU, so thanks for coming out. I bought my first home here too and had flooding issues, so I relate to that. And it isn't about a political affiliation. It's about doing what's right for people. And sometimes it is hard, like you said, to relate to something if it's not happening to you personally, and to understand what's going on if it's not happening to you. But it's important for all of us to start to really work on getting empathy. Even if there's the flooding, whatever the issue is, to have empathy and try to put ourselves in other people's shoes and try to help out with whatever that issue is. So thank you guys for coming. I always appreciate you. Thanks.
Thank you, Alderwoman Scott. Alderwoman Malone Saavedra.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, to my good friend Carmelo, I agree with you. Our caucus is a little disappointed that the Sienna Center that was originally budgeted for and recommended out of CCND has been zeroed out in a substitute that's in front of us tonight, but we will be discussing that, probably going into separate caucuses during a recess to talk about it, but I fully support the work that's being done at Sienna. ESL is really important, and yeah, no, so thank you for what's going on there and for all the work you do, from Bodiquiniers to the flag raising to the many, many ways you contribute to the community. To the folks from Allen Street, thank you for always coming out. On a positive note, I want to say that this council's the class of 2023 to 2025, and in the period of time since we've been elected, $6 million has been secured for the Allen Street project. So prior to our election, we went from having no city funds secured for the project to now standing at $6 million funds for the project in city funding. So I would say that that's $4 million from the water department and $2 million from a bond that we recently passed. So I just want to say that we are making progress in that department. We're not shirking our responsibilities, and we continue to look at and evaluate ways to get this project moving forward. But I'd say $6 million was a very good faith effort over the last 18 months. Thank you for always coming out.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any other members? Any other members? Seeing none, we're going to close this portion of the meeting out. And it's now 7:16, and the regular meeting will begin shortly. Thanks for coming.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the New Britain Common Council. The date is May 14th, 2025. The time is 7:23 p.m. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara,
Here.
Smedley. Present. Sanchez. Here. Beloin Saavedra. Here. Simpson. Here. Russell. Here. Barbosa. Here. Hargraves. Here. McAdam. Here. Gibson. Here. Scott. Here. Connors. Here. Malinowski. Here. Pabon. Here. Santiago.
Present.
15 members present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can we all please rise for the invocation? It will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the love of the mothers you have given us, whose love is so precious that it can never be measured, whose patience seems to have no end. We pray for those mothers who fear they will run out of time with their family. We ask you to bless our mothers with your own special love. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move right into minutes this evening. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the minutes of the special and regular meeting of April 9th, 2025, and special and regular meeting of April 26th, 2025.
I have a second from Alderman Smedley. Are there any questions or comments on the approval of the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I see no amendments to the agenda. Mr. Clerk, we'll move into petitions tonight.
One petition, Your Honor. Alderman Santiago requesting information on the Greater New Britain, Chamber of Commerce.
We're going to send that to the mayor's office, please. Okay, we'll go right into our consent agenda. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the consent agenda item of A, B, C, D, and G.
I have a second from Alderman Russell. That means E and F are off. And do I have any questions or comments on the consent agenda this evening? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons McNamara,
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Sanchez. Yes. Beloin Saavedra.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Russell. Barbosa. Hargraves. McAdam. Gibson. Scott. Connors. Malinowski. Pabon. Santiago. 15 in favor, Your Honor.
Thank you. Motion carries. Report E, Alderman McNamara.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate the report back from Mr. Delgadillo, and I wonder if he's here.
Yep.
Just give us a status report on the parking meter situation.
Alderman, may I just have a motion to accept the report?
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to accept the report.
And I have a second from Alderman Santiago.
Thank you. Now I'll go on with my speech.
You got it.
Thank you, John. I know you noted that corrections and equipment was being made. Can you just give us a status report of where that is at? You know the story of a couple of complaints about getting ticketed and in the last 6 months or a year, and where that's at now.
So as I stated in the petition, we did actually remove the meters that were malfunctioning. We do still have a brand new kiosk location on the front of Pearl Street, typically where most of the visiting garage court people go. So that one's still functional and working. The rest we did remove because of the issues we have with the older meters. Their batteries were dying very quickly. They're well past their life expectancy. And in the wintertime, when you don't get enough sunlight on them, they will fail quicker. We have to swap batteries out and stuff like that. But it was definitely, we knew it was past its life, hence why we put it out to bid last summer. The original lead time was given of 6 to 8 weeks on the equipment, and it is now going on to 12 weeks. We did get an update last week of delivery the second week of June. So that was, they'll be in and functional. With the new kiosk, though, we will also have another pay-by-cell option and a lot of other features as well to help the ease of payment for the consumers.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Delgadillo? Alderman Smedley.
Thank you. Did the tabling of this item previously cause any delays in the ordering of the equipment?
Yes, like as I stated, it was tabled. Well, it wasn't this one wasn't tabled, this one was just referred to.
Oh, it was referred to.
Referred, yeah, to planning and zoning, and I believe the meeting was canceled that was supposed to go to, so then it didn't meet again until it came back to council on December 11th. So original submission to the council was October 9th meeting, and then didn't come back for approval till December 11th. Then you know how it is around the holidays, getting contracts finalized out to them. By the time they got executed, it was January, ordered the equipment in January. Had to finalize some things. We're hoping for a April, May installation, and now we're looking at June.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Delgadillo? Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the report, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Santiago, item F.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept item F.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
This regards to the request for parking passes or permits for the council members while they're doing their duties in the city. The only question was, the first year when we came back in, there was an issue with, I think it was, we had a meeting and that we had to come in and there was multiple state representatives and council members that got ticket that day. And we had to kind of fix that issue, which it took about almost, I think, one was McNamara. That was when they caught a ticket for that, for the meeting that we had. So, and I came in and I had asked, where's the passes that, when I was councilman prior to this term, that the council members used to receive? You said that they were no longer being used. Now, the thing about it is that, again, as city council members, we don't only do this downtown, we also do Arch Street, which also has meters. North Street has meters, in which when we have to do our consistent response, again, we have to pay for tolls for doing the city job, in which I know the recommendations was to use the 3 garages. Again, that's not easy for commuting, for individuals that can't walk that far to use those garages. I'm just asking, why is it that the council, that previous councils prior to this one had badges, had passes, are not being able to utilize the same privileges as prior before?
Through your honor, I don't recall of any pass given out to any older people before. Actually, since I've been here, the request was made at one point, and I was told just my administrator that worked here 42 years, I guess it was something that they did practice in the past and got taken advantage of, so it was then taken away by my predecessor. We've never had passes. I think somebody used to put something in their windshield saying that they worked here or they're a council member, and maybe we honored that, but we typically we've never given any pass to park on the street or anything like that.
Actually, I do have the pass still continue to this day in my car. I don't use it, but I do have the pass. And it was a city emblem, names Alderman on work. It says it on there. I have it in the car right now that it does say it. And that was when I was first councilman, since 2017. So that was when we did have the passes at that time, in which I do have it still in my car. That's why I had asked you that same day when the tickets were given, and I think Alderman Ira Sanchez also has that pass that we had gotten when I was councilman at that first one I did. That's why I was asking, because I did have it, so I'm like, okay, it was practice. Why we were not having this?
Can you explain what the pass is?
It's a cardboard, white cardboard pass, what it says Alderman, it's not Alderman, and then it has the city seal on it. And this is.
Yeah, unbeknownst to me, Alderman, I'm sorry, I never handed those out since I've been in that department. Definitely not from me. Maybe it was handed down from the council chambers. They maybe had something.
It wasn't. This was actually from them, because again, at that time, I think it was Alderman Sanchez that was at the time. He the one that mentioned it to us, and that's when we ended up getting them, because he had them from prior years to that. So that's when we had gotten them, when he was councilman at that moment. So, I'm not trying to, so I'm just saying that, while we're doing our due diligence, those are the same courtesies that we should have as other members that work here do have the same courtesies. So they're just asking for those.
Nobody else gets a free pass in the city.
Well,
what do you mean by that?
All right, let me get it correct. The plates that are in the front top of this garage are all city official workers, right? That does say they're parking, which means they do get free parking. I'm not saying.
I pay for it.
Oh, they do?
I pay for it in my paycheck. Every week I pay for that.
Every city employee pays another paycheck.
Okay,
to
sorry.
park in the garage.
My bad. Misinformation then. I'm just saying it because I assumed that those were not paid for. So I take that back. But again, prior to this council, we did have passes. and that were required, was asked from that time was majority leader, because he was majority leader for those requests. So I'm just asking why we're not getting the same courtesy as what's done.
Yeah, like I stated, Alderman, since my, 7 or 8 plus years now, we've never given it. My administrator before me told me that we took those away a long time ago. I'm not sure when you got that passed last time, but we just haven't done it because I guess people were taking advantage of it. Again, we got 3 garages. We got parking lot on Arch Street. You could park in there. I could give you a permit that could give you the access to park in there. It's something we could establish. There's a parking lot on Broad Street. You could park in that parking lot too. We own parking lot on Glen Street. There's no meters on North, but yeah, it's just we took it away a while ago. It was just something, and I believe the parking commission actually is the one that took it away from everybody, because they do create those type of rules related to parking. So I'm assuming that they took it away because that's what was told to me. We brought it up to them at our parking commission meeting, which again, they brought up that it's been taken away and that they could park in any city garage or parking lot.
Alderman.
Feel free to attend the next meeting if you'd like and discuss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a statement in general. I've been elected for 12 years. I've never had a parking pass. I have a card because I work for the Board of Ed, but I pay for that out of my paycheck as well. But the city council card has also worked the gate, so we could park beyond the gate if we needed to. In addition, my statement is that we're an elected body. We're not higher than anybody in the city, so I don't think that we should be issued free parking or the ability to have a permit on our windshield. We're usually attending public events that have free parking anyways, or the meters are bagged off if we go to the Broad Street Festival or something like that, because I understand that's the concern. There's no big parking garage there. But at the end of the day, it's $1 to park, and we're paid $5,000 a year to do our job here. So I don't think it's that detrimental for us to have to pay to park at a meter or use the kiosk when we have to park to do outside city business that's not here at City Hall. City Hall is the exception. We do have a designated space, and again, our card will work on the gate. So I'm just struggling with that. Thank you.
All those in favor of accepting the report, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move into the resolutions this evening. Resolution number 1, Alderwoman Scott.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 1.
I have a second from Alderman Connors.
This resolution is for Asian American Pacific Islander Month, Heritage Month, and it's to observe this month for the celebration, contributions, histories, and culture that the Asian community has given to New Britain. And they have a rich community and civic engagement and service. And they have many languages, traditions, histories that are woven into the fabric of American society, culture. And I like to celebrate them and to affirm that equal justice and honor them, and with them shaping the future for us in New Britain. And I also wanted to invite everybody to the museum this Saturday. They're going to be having a celebration there. It's free for everybody, the American History Museum. And I hope that you'll come out. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's an art activity. And I will be there, and I hope that you guys will join us. It's from 10:30 to 1. I know we have Celebrating New Britain, but you can stop by there for a little bit beforehand and then go to our Celebrating New Britain. So I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any questions or comments on item number 1? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, Alderman Hargraves.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was just surprised I'm being recognized in these chambers. I'll make a motion to accept and adopt resolution number 2.
Second. I have a second from Alderman Connors.
This is for the 2025 Neighborhood Assistance Act program. There's a public hearing on April 22nd. This is for federal funds. It's going to Neighborhood Housing Services, CCRC, Prudence Crandall, Human Resources Agency of New Britain, and YWCA. And this was accepted. It went through council, and we had a public hearing, and I do urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments on the Neighborhood Assistance Act program? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 3.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
Your Honor, I would like to, this resolution is to, is for the 2025 to 2029 consolidated plans for HUD programs and 2025 annual consolidated plans for HUD programs. Your Honor, I also have some amendments I would like to make. Yeah, we're gonna. So, Your Honor, I would like to substitute the whole item number 3 with this resolution that we brought up forward. And
Okay.
I'll read it up just so that.
Does the clerk have a copy of this?
Do you have one? Yes, he does.
Got it, okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. We don't have it by the numbers, we have it by each applicant. So what we're doing is Friendship Center, they're gonna get, they're gonna get 20,000 allocated. I'm sorry, the Vietnamese applicants and mutual aid is gonna stay the same, 75,000. I'm just gonna do the corrections once. Friendship Center, Inc., 59 Arch Street windows replacement will get 20,000. Friendship Center, 85 Arch Street windows replacement will get 20,000. The Gillett Community Service Facility Treatment Center kitchen overhaul will get 20,000. Housing Authority of the City of New Britain facility improvement, acoustics and windows retreatment will get 20,000. New Life and Christ Church and New Britain and New Beginning Ministry will get 20,000. New Life and okay, I'm sorry, that's would be that one. Then we would be reducing the New Britain Parks of Public Works infrastructure improvement from 150 to 100,000. New Britain Recreational Services, the A.W. Stanley Parks tennis and pickleball courts would be zeroed out from the 100,000 to a zero. The New Britain's Water Department led water services, they will get allocated 50. We're bringing it to 100,000. Let's go back down. HRAs, the pantry, food pantry would get 10,000. Go down, a reduction, Boys and Girls Club, both the after school and the camp would reduce from the 20,000 to 15 and 25 to 20,000, and which is that's where the HRA is getting 10,000 from. And then, all right, the Queen Anne's with Growth Youth Enrichment Program would get 10,000. Worldwide Youth Network, the Paradigm Pride will get 10,000. And PALS all year activities they were allocated to 25. We're splitting it between both the PALS and the New Britain chairs. And here's the reason. Okay, and then we're also taking removing the YWCA's incubated program. We're zeroing that out from the 10,000 to zero. That would even out everything to us. Total would be the 1 million. Oh, I'm sorry. And then now we go down to the Sienna, which actually that's moved from 10,000 to zero. That would even it all out for the homes and the facilities. And then the homes programs, nothing was removed from that one. No. The Homes ARPS program, we removed the 20,000 from the Friendship Center, Hopes Connection Center, and split it between the 10,000 additional to the New Britain Recreational Community Service Building Hope Together Security. They were allocated 45,000. We put that to 55,000. The Prudence Crandall PCC Comprehensive Housing, they were allocated 46,000. We put another 10,000 to that. So then total would be 11,100 and for that facility part. So that's pretty much all. And I urge adoption. I urge substitution.
So as a matter of process for this, you'll need to propose this as an amendment for a substitute of item 3, and then you'll need a second on that, and then we'll have to discuss this.
Okay, make a motion to amend the resolution number 3 to substitute with what we have in hand.
I have a second by Alderwoman Sanchez. And so now we can take up the amendment for discussion. Alderwoman, sorry, I'm just gonna take one moment, please. I just want to make sure that with the amendment that the office, that the CCND administrator was consulted on some of this, and if not, I would highly recommend that you do so, because a lot of the organizations who applied have also maxed out the 3-year limit where by law we have to take a break. I'm not sure if any of that was asked. And then also I would recommend asking just an opinion on whether or not projects can actually be completed in their entirety with a partial allocation. We run into a lot of problems and also find that a lot of nonprofits do not want to actually accept a smaller grant because there's so much time and effort that has to go in with the reporting for HUD and CDBG. There are a couple of things on here that just kind of struck me where they may not want, I hate to say it like this, but they may not want to go through that process. So that's just my 2 cents on these things. And then Alderwoman Beloin-Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. You took some of my comments.
Sorry.
No, don't do that. Absolutely. More important when they come from you. Can we have Jack and Scott come up and kind of review the amendments as proposed, kind of in light of what Mayor Stewart has said about the partial funding, starting at the top. Do you have a copy of the
Not the latest.
does anyone on the other side have a copy that they can share?
You can just have my phone.
And if we just kind of work our way down, it's striking the Friendship Center with the windows.
That's a good one to start with, I think. Just Mayor put it very succinctly. The issue also is that with partial funding, and when you guys all reviewed the proposals that came in, they all are required to submit sources and uses of funds. So these projects are already sort of their stack is put together of where their funding sources are coming from. When you're looking at these sort of fractional funding, CCND's strategy is usually to zero that out rather than give them a third of what their whole funding request is. Reminder, these are 1-year project periods. If they have to piece together other funding sources, we have to go back to CCND and request extensions. Sometimes it doesn't even get that far. We don't even get to contracting with some of these if they can't source these funds. So in many cases, it's, again, more the charitable thing to zero that out and give that funding to a fully funded other project. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Can you work your way down the list, if you don't mind? So Feral Treatment Center is the next change,
Yep.
adding 20,000.
Yeah, I mean, our issue with them has been project completion in the past and their capacity to complete in a timely manner.
Do they still have money, balance in your office from previous funding
Correct, yeah.
that they haven't been able to use or?
Yes.
Okay. Is that funding, because these are annual grants, so can that funding be repurposed if it's not used in a timely fashion?
We have to go back to CCND to do it. There's the opportunity. We just then, when we have a project open for long enough, it could potentially get flagged by HUD. It's not the best scenario.
Okay, thank you.
I don't mean to chime in here, but I would like to say that HUD has been making it very clear that they will be taking back unspent money. And I think that's just some cause for concern too.
So knowing that Farrell already has a balance, I'll just put a little question mark there for myself. The facility improvements, the acoustics and windows for the Housing Authority, they added 20,000 in this.
And is that fully? Just give me a second to, no, so that was a partial, right? That's 20 out of 55 and change was the original request. Yeah, I mean, depending on how they identified their sources and uses, again, that's a less than a third of the original ask. So they'd have to piece together $40,000 roughly.
Okay. The next one is New Life, New Beginnings, and that is something our caucus actually had asked to add money, although we did it in a different amount and from a different source. We asked, because their ask was 32,000. We asked, would 30,000 get them there? We did our due diligence and called the office. Alderman Smedley talked to Mr. Williams about this, and with some other issues that this organization wasn't aware of, I believe the conversation was they need at least 40,000 to actually move this project forward.
Yeah, and that's considering wage rate requirements and everything else, Scott, if you want to.
Yeah, So we're also going to be bound by the lead-safe rule and newly imposed radon testing for all residential, actually all our properties that are going to be inhabited for over 4 hours at a time are going to be subject to the radon and the lead. So this building, per the vision card, was constructed in 1900. That's probably usually a placeholder, but it's before 1978. So there's most likely lead on site, which means before they could spend any of this window money, they're going to have to go through a very costly lead abatement process and potentially radon testing. That's less expensive, but it's still a cost burden. So even at full funding, I'm skeptical that this project moves to completion. I'm in contact with Urgy Bodie. We've spoken briefly about maybe private funding sources. I do encourage her to keep applying because, you know, any amount helps, but it would be extremely difficult, I think, at this level with federal requirements to get the project completed.
Okay, thank you. The next change on the list is Public Works, the infrastructure improvements from 150,000 to 100. I believe that's the sidewalk programming throughout the city?
Yeah, it's in ADA accessibility, so ramps on the sidewalks.
And is that the
essentially.
major source of funding for the ADA compliance with sidewalks?
It's not the only source, but they've been getting $150,000 annually from us to complete this project. So that's sort of how they line up their scope of work for the year.
Okay.
It is the largest source.
Yes.
It is the largest source for ADA compliance for walkways.
And then pickleball, which was recommended for $100,000 is being zeroed out. This amount of money doesn't get the project done, but it's a piece of the overall funding of the project, correct? That's where we
Correct.
are with that one. Okay, so if this money isn't funded, then that project actually probably goes on hold for a little while as they continue to piece that money together. The next I see, and I don't know who can speak to this, the lead water, they were actually gained 50,000. Is that something Mr. Moriarty could speak to, or?
So that's for the lead pipe replacement program, which is kind of also doing one of these with what the federal regulations are actually going to impose on people. And we asked for money to help offset the cost of replacing lead pipes that were found or discovered in people's homes. But then it became, well, then we were told that the federal government was actually going to subsidize a portion of that. And I don't know if you know.
I mean, the only thing with, obviously this money pays for 100%, but we had another source of funding for lead service lines that would pay for 75% of it. So, well, it's like better, I mean, we have so many needs on infrastructure, but we do have a separate source that will pay up to 75% of the cost of lead service line replacements.
So you could live with that cut?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're going to go down, thank you, Mr. Moriarty. HRA Healthy Eating Initiatives, adding $10,000.
Just catching up here.
Yep, of course.
Do you want to speak to that, Scott? Okay.
Tier 3.
So HRA has been funded. It's been a few years, but they used to receive funding for this program in between $10,000 and $15,000 a year. They've made it work. So I'm confident that one can move forward with.
Well, that wasn't a cut, that was an add-on.
Right.
It didn't come out of the commission as a recommendation.
Correct. I believe, not to speak for CC&D, but I believe that was because they showed their agency budget is quite large, and they believed that in comparison to other agencies, they were going to be able to cover the costs better.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm going to move to the two Boys and Girls Club. We'll just take them together. The after-school Saturday program was cut by $5,000, and then Camp Shady was cut by $5,000. I'm a little more concerned about the Camp Shady part of it, only because, you know, Mr. Jones has done a really big promo about getting that camp up and running.
Sure. Scott can speak to that.
So CC&D came up with that 25,000 mark in conversations with the Boys and Girls Club. It's our understanding that that is the minimum contract amount for busing, $25,000. So that under $25,000, it's, I mean, it didn't seem likely that the project moves forward.
Okay, so $25,000 covers the busing.
Correct.
That was the rationale for that. Okay,
So we
thank you.
reduced it as much as we could at the commission level.
And then we move down to the YWCA Child Care Business Incubator Program that was zeroed out. And I do remember them coming and talking during our public hearing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they asked for 10,000. That 10,000 would have sufficed, according to their sources and uses for their project.
Okay. And 10,000 was added to Queen Anne Nzinga for Growth Youth Enrichment Program.
Yeah, are they one of our third year in a row applicants?
No, so they were a casualty at the commission level. How we started the process was going by the needs assessed through our 5-year plan. We ranked in order a lot of the buckets of funding here, or applications here, and the arts programs were towards the bottom of the priorities identified by New Britain residents. So we prioritized the housing, youth programs, after-school programs, I should say, but the arts-specific programs were ultimately the first cuts that the commission made.
Okay. The next one is the Worldwide Youth Networks, Paradigm Pride after school program, adding 10,000.
They've operated at that level before. We've worked with them multiple years. I
guess I'm asking these because there's a lot of like $10,000 add backs from zeroed out programs at the commission level.
They were zeroed out at the commission level, I believe, just due to a shortage of funding. So there's nothing against their application. They scored well. They're a capable agency, so they could move forward with $10,000.
Okay. The next change was the literacy at the Sienna Center. The commission recommended 10,000 and it went down to 0.
Yeah, I believe they've also operated at that level before in
At
the
the
past.
$10,000.
$10,000.
Clever. Okay. And then it looks like PAL was cut in half so that another youth football and cheer program could also get half. So
The issue here, again, so it's not a construction project, obviously, but they're purchasing equipment. So it's not clear whether or not that 50% number would be sufficient to purchase equipment.
is that for PAL, you mean, or for the other one?
No, for New Britain Youth Football.
Okay. And then the only other change I see is down the bottom, and that is something that we had asked for, zeroing out the Hope Center, because they had asked for like 99,000 and it was only recommended for 20, and that was to pay a bunch of different staff. And that was reallocated to the Building Hope program that's run here through Community Services, and then also given more money to Prudence Crandall. Any issues with that?
No, Prudence Crandall's a great subrecipient, so is our program.
Okay, so I appreciate you answering all the changes. We have to digest it. It's actually a lot of changes compared to last year. We didn't have this many changes. And it's really difficult because you're robbing one group to pay for another group. So we just need a little time to kind of digest that. We all have groups that we're more familiar with than other groups that we work with, or we know people that attend those programs. I am a little concerned about the zeroing out of the Sienna Center personally myself. I know the people who run it and the good work that they do. But yeah, I guess I just need some clarification, so thank you.
Your Honor.
Alderman McNamara.
Thank you, Your Honor. Gentlemen, thanks for stepping up. The first thing I look for on any of these projects submitted is whether they are eligible or not. Are any of the aforementioned, the list that Alderwoman Valencia-Beta went through, were any of them deemed ineligible, to the mayor's point?
Yeah, they're initially, on the initial tally sheet, the ones that were highlighted as ineligible were the only ones. So none of these being proposed are ineligible.
Yeah. And do you think in the past, the CDBG program throughout its long history has allocated funds that may have required the organization to raise more funds to do the project?
In some cases, I mean, that happens. It's harder to get it done. It's a one-year project period. That's the concern in general with some of these requests.
Yeah, well, the commission trying to be realistic, but I can't base my judgments on hypotheticals because in my work experience, a CDBG grant can be used as leverage to get funds from others. And I noted in the applications, it's a good sheet to have, where's your source of money from elsewhere? But getting a grant can lead to leveraging funding from other sources within a reasonable amount of time. So I would just say the amendment made by Alderman Santiago in terms of our caucus reflects needs and not just wants. And it's not to disparage all of these organizations. They pass muster and they qualify. And the thing is, we are dealing in a CDBG program with crumbs, having been told by your consultant that the HUD office and the chainsaw massacre in Washington that's going on may jeopardize even these funds. So I think I can't, I accept your analysis, but I believe many times in the past, this council has approved grants to organizations that then could go out and leverage that through the community foundation, through various corporate foundations and other funding sources that can give them a boost. So it's in that spirit that I support this amended resolution. Thanks. And any comments you might want to what I said, I'm sorry.
No, I just want to point out that HUD requires us to have policies and procedures which they approve. Our policies and procedures state that for a project to receive CDBG funding on the public facility side, the CDBG piece needs to be the last component of the funding. So they need to be fully funded outside of this. Obviously, funding levels change year to year, and we try to be flexible, but ultimately, when we're reviewing these at the CC&D level, we try to make sure that this is the last piece in and projects are shovel-ready the moment we sign a contract.
Takes a lot of staff work. Alderwoman Barbosa.
Good evening. It was stated that some of the programs that if they're not fully funded might deny the grant that they're granted. In the last 12 years, how often has that happened?
I don't have a specific stat for you, but it's happened frequently enough that in the last few years, when we send out the award letters, I have each partial recipient send me back a letter, first and foremost, stating if they can or cannot move the project forward. I will say, looking back at our 2023 funds, I think almost half of them on the public facilities side didn't move to contract. One of those being Gilead Community Services. In fact, Gilead Community Services, just to speak on that one, because I think I can make that decision a little bit easier, they moved forward outside of the bounds of our most recent contract with their 2024 funding. So they are actually scheduled to receive a call tomorrow notifying them of termination of contract. We are going to give them the opportunity to petition to CC&D to repurpose the funding for a project on that site with the same beneficiaries. That could potentially include this project that they've applied for this year. So just to point that out.
Any other questions on the amendment? I know. I'm sorry, I messed that up a while ago.
So, Your Honor, due to my conflict and affiliations with some of these programs on here, I'm going to recuse myself from the vote.
I messed that up. I should have called on you a long time ago. That's my fault. Please. I'll let you know when you can come back. That is completely my fault. Alderman. Yeah.
Okay, ask your.
And Alderman Smedley.
I'm going to yield to questions first because we're going to ask for a recess, but I'll yield to questions
well,
first.
then that's where everybody is. Oh, Alderman Simpson?
Thank you, Your Honor. I just had a quick
Oh, you're
question
welcome.
for Scott.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was just wondering, is there any awards that this council awarded last year that just haven't been spent? And I just ask this because we have folks who have applied for funds for multiple years in a row. I was wondering if anybody on this list got an award last year that they just haven't really touched yet.
I don't have all that information in front of me, but going off of previous year's requests and what I can think of off the top of my head, Gilead Community Services, specifically for 2024 funds, and I believe one Parks and Rec project for the tennis courts at Willowbrook Park are the only two that have yet to draw down any funds.
Madam Mayor, motion to
Motion to brief recess, Your Honor.
Made by Alderman McNamara, seconded by Alderman Santiago. All those in favor of recess, please say aye. Aye. We are in recess. The time is 8:03 p.m. No, so we're still on the amendment. Yeah, so if you
Have anything with you on this?
Yeah. So what you would do is you would just kind of, you would rescind the original motion and then restate it with the new.
With a change.
I know. Well, that's okay. That's easier. Then you just put it as a package. So you don't have to go through everything.
Okay.
Nice tie, Willie.
No more flex time for you. Oh. Thank you.
Leon?
He's in the bathroom.
Oh, one more? Honor a motion to resume the meeting?
Second.
Got a motion to resume the meeting, second by Alderman Smedley. We are back in action. It is 8:25. Welcome back. The motion is on the floor for the amendment to resolution number 3, and Alderman Santiago, I'll turn this back to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to withdraw the substitution amendment that we had.
Okay.
And we would like similar substitutions, but we're just gonna remove money from, what is it, Gillian's Community Service. That was $20,000 that was allocated. We're gonna remove that, zero them out, and move that money to New Life Christ Church, and every other amendments were as is. So it would be 40,000 if I'm correct.
So it'll be 40,000
40,000,
total.
yes, and the rest would be the same.
Okay.
Of the substitutions that we had from the first time.
Okay.
And I urge adoption, or.
So that is, so we
Amendments.
rescinded the original amendment, so this is the new amendment that you're proposing. Do I have a second on the new amendment from Alderwoman Sanchez? Is that good?
Second.
Mr. Clerk? Good for you, Mr. Clerk? Good, great. All right, so now you have the amendment on the floor. Is there any other discussion now that this amendment is in front of everybody with the new changes? Any other discussion on the proposed amendment before we vote on the amendment? Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we recognize the Second Amendment, and we appreciate the effort. Although after hearing from Scott and Jack, thank you. I don't know why I was drawing a blank. I was reading the paper. From Scott and Jack, I'm nervous that that's still not enough money for New Life to complete their project. They had requested 32, and they didn't account for prevailing wages, and they didn't account for the lead abatement requirement. So I'm nervous about that. I'm also nervous about the partial funding to the Friendship Center for their window projects 20 and 20, when they had asked for 66,000 for 59 arch and 59,000 for 85 arch. So I feel like we're just throwing money away. So I do appreciate the effort, but I don't see the projects actually coming to fruition based on what we heard earlier from our professionals.
Any other question on the, or discussion on the amendment? Alderwoman Saavedra.
I actually have a procedural question, because I don't think it's happened before, at least not while I've been on the council. If this item was tabled, does that screw with any time? You're saying yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, that answers that question.
Would you like to come up? I think Scott should come
yeah.
up and explain what the timetable
No,
and
'cause
what happens.
Very rarely would I ever make a motion to table, and I'm not now that you're shaking your head, but since so many times on this council floor, we've heard about the importance of tabling so that we have all the information and understand the full picture, such as it happened last night at a committee level. This is pretty significant.
So I regret to inform you, this is due to HUD tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes. We have to get a approved consolidated plan and annual action plan to HUD 45 days prior to the start of our fiscal year, which would be a July 1 fiscal year, so May 15th would be the last day that we can submit this to HUD and still have our subrecipients spend money retroactive to July 1st.
Okay.
Gives us 3.5 hours.
Okay, so then now I'm going to ask a question to Corporation Counsel, because this is an amendment in front of us. Can you amend an amendment, or do we have to vote on this and then offer another one, or can?
The amendment was withdrawn, I think.
And then a new one was
And
put
then
on
new
the
one,
floor?
So what's the
Which
question?
is what we're talking about right now. With the 20K.
But I'm assuming it was all of the same amendment that they had put forward, and then just this one tweak to it?
Correct.
Yes, okay. And now I'm asking, is it feasible for us to amend this as well? We're still on an amendment.
You can amend, you can always amend. And
You can amend an amendment?
Yes,
Okay.
if,
'Cause,
if the council were so inclined.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, our caucus is having difficulty with the addition of $40,000 for the Friendship Center in those two other window programs. Neither one of those 20,000 even come close to funding the program. And you said earlier that when it's on the facility side, the money has to be like the closer for the project, not a vantage point, a chit, so to speak, to negotiate for funding from somewhere else. So I'm a little concerned about wasting $40,000 worth of this money if it is not closing the gap for these two window projects. So I'm asking you that question before I make my amendment.
So I think one potential compromise might be bundling the two together. So you just fund one at 40 instead of two at 20. That way, there might be some economies of scale on ordering the windows for the larger project. They might be able to kind of redefine their project and bundle those two together. I think if at the current funding levels, 2020 and the 105, you're going to have two projects that are ultimately stalled out.
I mean, I know we're spending a lot of time on $1.5 million, but a lot of people asked for this money, and it's very difficult to sparse who's going to get it and who's not going to get it. I'm just struggling with the Friendship Center because they did get $1 million bond just from the state of Connecticut. None of this money actually increases their emergency shelter or bed capacity. It's about windows. So I'm struggling with that. If this money was here to say we're going to increase the capacity of the Friendship Center, I wouldn't be struggling at all. But the idea of $160,000, $145,000 on windows that does absolutely nothing to increase the capacity of service for homeless people, that bothers me. And I just don't see that $40,000 as doing something, whereas if we could reallocate it to another program that also helps homeless people, I see that's a better use of funds, and I see that Alderman Smedley is very eager to jump in on here. I don't have a quick answer, but I just want to say I oppose that $40,000 because I don't think it gets you guys where you want to go by helping the Friendship Center, because it does not increase the capacity of beds. And I just think we should look for somewhere else to put it. Thank you.
Alderman Smedley, question?
Thank you, Your Honor. Also a procedural question while we're asking procedural questions. Let's say the amendment passes and Alderwoman Beloin-Saavedra suggests another amendment to that amendment, and we're still in discussion, and this passes. What happens if the mayor vetoes this?
Fair question.
What happens if the mayor vetoes it in terms of what, Alderman?
If the amendment passes and then the resolution passes with the majority vote here tonight, and the mayor issues a veto to that, what happens procedurally?
Well, I think we have a problem on our hands if it's not, I mean, I think the mayor would have to veto it tomorrow, according to what Scott is saying.
And then would the original budget as proposed by the commission, the CCND commission, go into effect?
So I need time to look at that, Alderman. My guess is that's probably what would happen. I think we ran across this some number of years ago, maybe a decade ago or so. And my recollection is that that may have been what we ultimately decided, but I'd have to refresh my recollection on that.
Okay, so I would ask the other side to reconsider the money allocated to the Friendship Service Center, because the minority caucus will encourage the mayor to use the veto power once this passes the council this evening, if it passes like this.
Alderman McNamara?
I think the effort to usurp the responsibility of the council could jeopardize all, what are we dealing with, $4 million? Could put in jeopardy all of the HUD money unless we act tonight. And that would be on, if a veto occurs, that would mess up your plans for tomorrow, I assume.
Alderman Corliss?
So I urge we resolve this tonight, one way or the other, imploring the goodwill of the mayor not to veto it.
For the record, no one's asked my opinion once on any of this. No one.
oops, sorry,
Alderman
it wasn't
Smedley?
recognized.
Yeah, go.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you respectfully. I would, Alderman McNamara, I would encourage another recess then and talk with your caucus to attempt to move that money back into the infrastructure improvements or to the New Life in Christ Church and Beginning Ministry projects that they can correctly fund their project instead of partially funding other projects that are going to fail and then we lose the money anyways. So I encourage another recess and for you to talk with your caucus again.
Alderman Santiago?
Your Honor, if that's the case, we could have this discussion if we want to. However, the question I have is, don't the council supposed to have a time limit for a time gap to be able to vote against the veto? Is there supposed to be a 10-day period? Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's 10 days for the mayor to be able to veto.
So-
But we would have to have our opportunity to be able to overturn
So
that
Alderman,
veto.
that's what, in my response to Alderman Smedley's question, that's why I said it's a little complicated here because, you know, if we have to submit this plan to HUD tomorrow, all those timelines, practically speaking, are, you know, useless. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and again, I would have to sit down and look at it all and refresh my recollection, read through the various sections. I know that this came up the last time it came up. I don't know that we were up against the submission deadline, though.
Correct.
So I'm not sure how all those parts would fit together right here as we sit here.
All right, but Your Honor, due to the fact that this is something that came up, do you want to ask a question before I ask? I'll ask for recess.
You have the floor.
I'll sit.
Okay. Alderwoman Scott had her hand up for a while.
I just wanted to say that we worked really hard on coming up with where we need to allocate this money, and it's extremely difficult because we only have a certain amount of money. And I think, honestly, all of the programs deserve to be funded. And so it makes it really hard, and we have to like prioritize where the money is going to go, and that's with youth and housing and making sure that basic needs are being taken care of. And I just think that it would be very irresponsible of us to veto this when we know the deadline is tomorrow. I don't even know why that's coming into the conversation tonight. We're gonna try to fund the best that we can and make sure everyone's getting something, the best that we can. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that, and I hope that we're not gonna be irresponsible and try to veto something so important, especially as eloquently as Alderman McNamara said earlier about the chainsaw massacre that's happening in Washington. So, which makes this even more important for us to make sure that we're making sure that certain programs are getting funded the best that we can. So, thanks.
Good thing this isn't Texas. Alderman Simpson?
Thank you. Just a quick question. Scott, to the best of your knowledge, has the city ever missed this deadline?
No, I believe this is our 53rd, 52nd year as an entitlement community, and we have never started a fiscal year after July 1.
Thank you. I would encourage us to not find out the answer to that. So I'd encourage either a recess or some friendly amendment here. I think that's all I got. Thank you.
Alderman Smedley?
Just another procedural question. If the mayor vetoes something and the council wants to attempt to overturn it, it requires a 2/3 vote, is that correct?
Yeah, I think, and Alderman, this would be, I'm just trying to think through this as all of you are talking, and just getting back to Alderman Santiago's question. I know what everybody wants to know procedurally. I mean, off the top of my head, again, I'd have to look at it all, but it'd probably be very similar to a situation where, you know, the mayor had, where the council didn't leave enough time to override a mayoral veto on a budget, for example. So while the charter and the ordinances might allow Alderman Santiago and Alderman Smedley for this body to, you know, come back and have another opportunity, again, we have to, if we're dealing with practical time limitations, those things can limit your, whatever your legal or regulatory right is as a body here, so.
Understood. So an overthrow of a veto requires 10 votes in our charter, though, is my direct question.
Yes, I believe so. I can double check that if you need me to.
All right, thank you.
2/3, yeah.
Thank you.
Point of information.
The next item that I wanted to move on to is my colleagues stand here and say that they want to fund these projects that will increase the housing and ensure basic necessities and needs for things like that. But by funding the Arch Street housing projects with the $20,000 each, we're not doing that because those projects aren't going to come to fruition. So we're throwing $40,000 out the window, essentially. There's no way that you're going to recover a $60,000 project with just $20,000 to start. And one of those buildings is newer on Arch Street anyways. So I'm going to propose an amendment to the existing amendment that's on the floor, where Alderman Santiago moved the $20,000 from Farrell Treatment Center to New Life. I'm going to propose an amendment to that we move the $20,000 from 59 Arch Street and the $20,000 from 85 Arch Street also to New Life to give, or excuse me, I apologize, I'm going to restate that. $20,000 from 59 Arch Street will move to New Life to give them 60 total, which would hopefully get them through the gate with the lead testing and the prevailing wage. And we're going to move the $20,000 from 85 Arch Street back to infrastructure improvements.
Second.
Infrastructure improvements with the Department of Public Works.
Your Honor?
Alderman McNamara. I have a second on that motion by Alderwoman Saavedra. Alderman McNamara.
Just first, a point of information. So the CNDD on those window replacements at the 2 Arch Street locations, Alderman.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Alderman Hargrave. Where partial funding was brought to it, you want to move that 40,000 all to the, up to 2 places. Infrastructure improvements, sidewalks, and the New Life.
That's right.
Okay. I just, okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, just a quick question.
Yep, Alderman Santiago.
Scott, just a formality. What was the ask for New Life? The application, I'm sorry, I don't have it with me, that's what I'm asking again.
32 and change.
So how is it possible we add more money to a if it's applicant, is that possible? If the applicants ask, I'm sorry, 32,000 and we're giving them 60, that's twice almost as much. Is that legal to, or is it possible for us to do that when the applicant's only asking for 32,000?
To my knowledge, there's nothing that prohibits it. It has happened once in recent memory when we funded the garage at the senior center at $78,000 rather than $75,000. It's a smaller number, but that's the only other instance I can recall, and that did not raise any flags.
Okay, again, you're saying 3,000, now we're talking about almost 40,000, or actually 30,000, 28,000 if you want to be precise, that we're adding more. Would that be some kind of, like, why is it that they're asking for 32, we're giving 28,000? Wouldn't that be some kind of, because I'm sorry, if I see applicants asking for 30,000, we'll question a little, why is it we're giving them 28 more?
So it's a little bit different, but in the past few years, there's been a lot of supply chain issues on the heels of COVID and everything. Some projects do ultimately come back, request additional funding. If we have a project that doesn't utilize all their funding, that reverts to a contingency, and sometimes we have some available, and we've been able to do that. We'll make a substantial amendment through CC&D to this plan and increase funding so that a project could move forward.
Do you? No, that was what now the question was. If a project was not completed, what does happen to that fund?
Those funds revert. So if a project isn't completed, let's say it comes in under budget, and there's $10,000 left over, those funds are the contracts close, the projects close out with HUD. That money stays with the city. We have the same statutory time limit to spend it. It goes into an unallocated fund balance, and it would be used for just that, a contingency. If a project needs $10,000 because they didn't factor in the shipping costs or some unforeseen cost, it would go to CC&D. If they request it, a letter would go to CC&D via correspondence, and CC&D would determine whether or not the project merits the additional funding or not.
Okay. And with that question, I ask for a recess.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor of taking a quick recess again, say aye. Anybody opposed? We're in recess at 8:45.
And 20 to.
For the record, no one has still asked my opinion. Alderman Santiago.
Make a motion to come back out of recess.
We're back, it's 8:58.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Actually, you
I have to
first.
withdraw
Yes.
first,
Yep, Alderman Smedley has the
Thank you.
floor.
Madam Mayor, I move to withdraw my amendment to Alderman Santiago's amendment.
And I withdraw my second to that amendment.
So the secondary amendment has been withdrawn.
Your Honor, I would like to send my amendments. I will second that one.
We have the primary amendment that has been withdrawn.
Yes.
So we are back to the initial resolution as it is, as we started here this evening. Alderman Santiago.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a amendment to the item number 3.
Okay.
For the third time, with the substitutions, I'm gonna have to do this like really. Same amendments from the first originally, but we will be removing the 20,000 from the both 59 R Street and 85 R Street, which was 40,000, right?
Right?
That's how we do this again. All right. Yeah, we should have. All right, so that 40,000, I'm just gonna start with that. We're gonna put the 5,000 into New Life, the 35,000 into the Public Works, if I'm correct, for infrastructures and sidewalks, repairs, programs. That would be the first, correct?
Okay.
And then the Gillian, thank you.
Gilead goes to
The
0.
Gillian will go to the 20,000 withdrawal, it will go to New Life.
Okay.
And that would make the amendments that we were all discussed, besides the ones from the first, the initial.
Okay. I have a second by Alderman Smedley, but the most important person to know is Mr. Clerk. Did you get that? I've got a thumbs up.
You got it?
Okay.
All right. And I urge adoption, or
Thank
I urge
you.
amendment.
Alderman Santiago, I have a second by Alderman Smedley. Is there any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're now taking up the resolution as amended once. Any further discussion on the amended resolution? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Alderman McNamara, item number 4. Oh, Alderman Gibson.
Poor guy.
Thank you.
Oops. Oh, I've got it. No, that's 16.
Pass whatever you want, just request for proposal for moderator. It's just literally.
Yeah.
We're good, right? It's a good resolution to pass.
Are we ready?
Hold on.
Really?
Hermetically sealed box.
He was out there, right? Or no? Oh, okay. Oh, Alderman McNamara, item 4. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you.
Second.
All right. Let's get through these bids.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept and adopt number 4.
Second.
Second from Alderman Santiago.
This is the approval of an auditing firm, CLA, out of the audit committee. We had a meeting with the CLA auditors, and one night we had scheduled interviews. There were 2 potential applicants, CLA and another firm, but that firm subsequently withdrew, leaving us with 1 qualified applicant. And like some other deadlines we've been hearing tonight, there is a requirement that this be reported, I think by June 1, to the state of Connecticut to retain CLNA as the city's independent auditor for a period of 2 years, I think, with renewables. So I move adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Are there any questions or comments on item number 4? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? motion carries. Alderman Connors, item 5.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 5.
Second from Alderman Simpson.
Thank you. This item provides for 40 new cellular electronic poll pads, 36 replacements, 4 new. Very important for maintaining our registrar of voters records on election days and processing folks' information so they can all get to the polls and vote on time, and I urge adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Connors. Are there any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Scott, item number 6.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 6.
I have a second from Alderman Connors.
This resolution is for water meters for the Public Works Department. And they put out a bid for bid number 4190. And it was advertised, and the bid response is for the Water and Sewer Chief Operations is recommending the bid to be awarded to T Sales and Comp in Sudbury, Massachusetts, who meet all the requirements for the water meters. And they had a meeting on April 16th, 2025, and they are gonna have these new water meters, which is really important for us, and I urge adoption.
Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 7.
Seconded by Alderman Gibson.
And this is a public bid to purchase fire hydrants in the amount of $3,638.75 per fire hydrant to Core and Main of New Britain, and they were the only bid response received, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Simpson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I rise to make a motion to accept and adopt item number 8.
Seconded by Alderman McNamara. Was it Connors? Whatever. It was seconded. Go ahead.
Cool. Glad to have so much support. This is a resolution. We are purchasing various lengths of piping. It just helps with our water around the city. There's a bid attachment to this to find out cost per foot, the total cost, and the varying lengths. I urge adoption. Thank you.
Any questions or comments on item number 8? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Connors. Sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 9.
Seconded from Alderman Santiago.
This item provides for the purchase of many important chemicals and gases for our Public Works and Water Division. I could list some of my favorite chemicals and gases, but I will not. I will just ensure you that these are a comprehensive list of chemicals and gases for a fair price, and I urge adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Connors. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Pabon.
Make a motion to accept and adopt item number 10.
Seconded by Alderman Connors.
This is a public bid authorizing for a purchase order to a United Concrete product for catch basins and cores and mains for manhole covers. Items are for the Public Works Utility Division, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Pabon. Any questions or comments on this item? Alderman Smedley? No? Oh, okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Connors.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 11.
Seconded by Alderman Santiago.
There was one response to this bid this year for butterfly valves. Butterfly valves are a very important variety of quarter turn valves used to regulate and isolate the fluid flow in pipelines. Very good valve. I urge adoption. Thank you.
Any questions or comments on wedges and butterfly valves? A lot of pipe work tonight. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Sanchez, item number 12.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 12.
I have a second from Alderman Santiago.
This resolution is for public bid number 4202, purchase of chemicals, fertilizers, grasses, and pesticides for the New Britain Recreation and Community Services Department, Stanley Golf Course, and it reads like this. Public bid number 4202 was solicited and received in accordance with the purchasing ordinances of the City of New Bern for the purchase of chemical, fertilizers, grasses, and pesticides for the Recreation and Community Services Department, Stanley Golf Course, and funding is available for these purchases within the New Bern Recreation and Community Service Department. Stanley Golf Course, account number 101-5616, golf course chemicals and fertilizers, and the bid were reviewed for conformance with specification by the Recreation and Community Services. And the purchasing agent is added to authorize to issue purchase orders from May 15, 2025 to May 14, 2026, as per selected prices highlighted on the attachment, and I urge the adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman Sanchez. Are there any questions or comments on item number 12? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Malinowski, item number 13.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 13.
I have a second from Alderman Santiago.
And this authorizes the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order for $274,146.56 to enter in a contract with Weber Nursery Incorporated of New Britain, Connecticut for the annual trench repair program 2025, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Malinowski. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Santiago, item 14.
Thank you, Your Honor. Make a motion to accept and adopt item number 14.
Second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is authorized to issue a purchase order to Gravity Asphalt Reclaiming Inc. for $310,000 for milling of bituminous concrete of various city streets for the Public Works Department 2025 Pavement Rehabilitation Program, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Santiago. It's a mouthful. Any questions or comments on item number 14? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Barbosa, item 15.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 15.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is a cooperative purchasing. It's authorization to issue a purchase order to Safety Marking, Inc. for $74,000 for the installation of pavement markings on various city streets for the Public Works Department for the 2025 Pavement Rehabilitation Program, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman McNamara, 16.
Thank you. Motion to accept and adopt number 16.
Second from Alderman Santiago.
This is our regular report from the revenue collector on tax abatements, corrections, and refunds on vehicular and real property. This report, the bulk of the refunds or abatements are going to an outfit called EAN Holdings, and there's in total about $101,000 for the April report. I move adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Connors.
Your Honor, I make a motion to accept and refer item number 17 to the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
Thank you. This resolution provides for a $7,000 compensation in exchange for an easement to the Connecticut from the Connecticut Light and Power Company for fiber connections, and I urge referral. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Connors. Any
Your
questions on the referral?
Just may want to double check. You just said PCH. It needs to go to city plan too.
Would you like to restate your motion, Alderman Connors?
Nothing would bring me greater pleasure. I would like to restate my motion to accept and refer item number 17 to the City Planning Commission, as well as the Commission on Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Still seconded by Alderwoman Sanchez. Thank you, Alderman Connors. Any questions on the referral? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Santiago. So let's go to the same place too. 18.
Make a motion to accept item number 18 and refer to the City Planning Commissions and the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Seconded by Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is authorized for electric distribution easements for Connecticut Lights and Power Company, DBA, Eversource Energy at 150 Deming Road, and I urge referral.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments on the referral? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley, final item this evening.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 19.
Seconded from Alderman Connors.
Thank you. I understand I am the only thing between this and adjournment, so I won't read the entire resolution. But Resolution 19 is related to COTS Systems, which has provided data management products for our city clerk's office since 2005. And this resolution will allow us to renew the software for $20,880 a year for a term ending in June 30th, 2028. I do, like I said, know it is late in the night, but I'd like to start by reading the master agreement for products and services into the record, page 1 of 20. No, I'm just kidding. I urge referral. I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments on the renewal of the COT system? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Adjournment made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderman Gibson. All those in favor say aye. We're adjourned. The time is 9:14 p.m. Have a great night.